Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to our final reminder for today as we approach the end of Ramadan. In yesterday's reminder, I did mention that we will be speaking about death. And that's the message that, or the reminder that I would like to leave you with. Simply because the Prophet ﷺ told us or informed us that we should remember death because it is the destroyer of pleasures. So, for the entire year, this is what we should be doing. We should often remember death so that we can, inshallah, prepare for it and hence wise prepare for all those events that we've spoken about in the earlier reminders. So yesterday we talked about the destroyer of pleasures, death, and today, inshallah, what we're going to do is speak actually about the events that take place within the barzakh. What happens when death approaches us, when the angel of death comes to us. This is a very lengthy hadith, so we'll get straight into it. In this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he went, attended a funeral with some men of the Ansar. And once he came to a grave, he sat there quietly and he said to the people around him, the Ansar, seek refuge in Allah from the punishment of the grave. And he said that around about twice or thrice. He said, when a believer is about to leave the world and go forward to the next world, there's angels with white faces as the sun that come down to him. These people, and this refers to a good soul. When a good soul dies, there are angels whose faces are white with sun come down to him from heaven, and they bring a shroud from paradise, and there is some perfume on it from Jannah. And what they do is they sit away as far as the eye can see. So there's angels, so there's two groups of angels. There's one group that comes and sits, and then there's one group, there's one angel that comes who is the angel of death. So angel of death comes to you, but before that, the other angels come from heaven, they descend and they bring a shroud for you from Jannah. The angel of death will sit at your head and he'll ask you three things. But before he asks you anything, he addresses you, and he addresses you in the best manner. He says, good soul, come out to forgiveness and acceptance. So he's now extracting your soul. The angel of death is extracting your soul. It comes out as a drop flows from a water skin. So water skin is like a container, and if you see, once you've drank and you've got the final drop that just drops at the end, it just is tenderly extracted, very smooth. The angel of death seizes it. When it does so, those other angels, they don't leave it for an instant, but take the soul. And they take it and shroud it and they perfume it. And then comes forth a fragrance like that of the sweetest musk found nowhere on the face of this earth. So once the angel of death extracts your soul and he sits at your head, he gives that soul, he hands it over to those angels that have come from heaven with your shroud. They're waiting with the shroud for you, and they've perfumed it from the perfume of Jannah. Then they take it up and they bring it to a company of angels without their asking. So they ask, who is this good soul? Meaning that it's inevitable that they would ask, because now they've taken your soul. So the angels that have taken your soul, they start to respond to them, and they say, this is so-and-so, the son of so-and-so, using the best names by which people refer to you on earth. They then bring the soul to the lowest heaven and ask the gate to be opened. This is done, and from each heaven, when the angels, they take you, from each heaven they descend, there's angels joining you. There's an escort of them. They are accompanying you to the next level of paradise, which is really amazing. It's like, somebody who's really important. When they come, you tend to join join their crowd. You tend to follow them. You tend to walk with them, and this is what the angels do. The angels, as a recognition of your goodness, piety, they join you and they accompany you till they reach the seventh heaven. And God, who is great and glorious, says, record the book of my servant in Illiyun. In Surah Mutaffifin, Illiyun is a record. that's clearly recorded. It's a witness against you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking the angels to record the goodness for you. Illiyun is a record for the pious people. And then Allah subhanahu, then the voice says, take him back to the earth. For I created mankind for it. I shall return them to it for a appointed time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to make our soul return back to the earth, and they will bring forth, and he says, I will bring it forth another time, meaning the day of reckoning. He will resurrect the soul another time. The soul then will be restored to the body. 2 angels will come to him, and these are the 2 angels, as we know, Munkar and Nakir, and they'll make him sit up, and they'll ask you, then the questioning will start. Man Rabbuka, who is your Lord? And then the pious person will reply, Rabbi, my Lord, is Allah. They then will ask you, Man Dinuka, what is your religion? And then the person who knows, who's followed, who believed with every ounce of conviction, they were convinced, they had belief, they will respond, and the belief will speak for themselves, and they will say, Islam, Dini Islam, Dini Islam. Then they will say, Man hada ar-rajul, who was this man? What do you say about this person sent amongst you? Then they will reply, this is the messenger, the messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So these 3 questions, and it's a good point to mention here, and I have mentioned in an earlier reminder, when you bury your dead, there is a hadith related in Abu Dawood that you should go to the side of the grave, at least preferably the right side, and make dua for the person. Make dua once the loved one, once the person, a Muslim, is buried, you should make dua, for they are being questioned, and you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ease the question. And in one hadith it says, stand there till the time it takes to slaughter an animal. So take that time it takes to slaughter an animal. So stand there for some good few minutes and make that dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease this person's questioning, because in the hadith it says that my questions will have begun. So ease, and this is an hadith that's narrated in Abu Dawud, inshallah. So the angels then, once this person has responded to the 3 questions, the angels then ask, how do you know this knowledge, and where has this knowledge come to you from? And the person will respond and say, I have read Allah's book, I've believed in it, and I declared it to be the truth. So here the reiteration is reading the book, and as we said in yesterday's reminder, that reading the book, following it, will act as a source of intercession for you. Now this might be an intercession for you in the day of resurrection, not necessarily in the grave, but it will act as an intercession for you. Then once the person has mentioned that they have read the book, believed it, and declared it to be true, then there's a cry from heaven, and it says, my servant has spoken the truth. So spread out carpets from paradise for him, clothe him from paradise, and open a gate for him into paradise. Then some of his joys and fragrance come to him. So Allah, once this person has answered correctly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then ask the angels to open a gate for you in paradise, and spread a carpet from paradise, and clothe you with the clothes of paradise. And then there will be a joy and fragrance that comes to you in the grave. So there's 2 things here. First, you would have the opportunity, you will be given the reward of seeing Jannah. You'll see it, there will be a window open for you, and you will have some carpets, clothes from Al-Jannah. This will be something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala graces you with for your goodness. Then there's a joy and a fragrance comes to you, and the grave is made spacious for you as far as your eye can see, so it will be expanded for you. And a man with a beautiful face, with beautiful garments and a sweet odor comes to you, and that man will say, rejoice in what places you, for this is your day in which you have been promised. So this person will come and speak to you and tell you to enjoy the pleasures that you've been granted or that you've been promised. And you will then ask this person, who are you? For your face is perfectly beautiful and it brings nothing but good. This person then will respond to you and say, I am your good deeds. I am your good deeds. My Lord, bring the last hour, bring the last hour. Once you see your good deeds, you will ask for the last hour to come. You will beg for the last hour to come because you know what awaits you is going to be far better. As we said in the earlier reminder, Allah in the Prophet ﷺ said that the grave is your determination of your fate in the hereafter. Whatever happens in the grave, it's an indication of what is yet to come. If you have goodness in your grave, then the best will come after that. But if you do not have the best in your grave, then what is to come after that is going to be far worse. Inshallah. Let's move on with the reminder. But when a disbeliever leaves the world, what will happen? So this is what we've just looked at is the account for a believer. Let's now turn to the soul of a wicked or disbeliever that leaves the world. Angels with black faces will come down from heaven with a hair cloth and sit away from him as far as the eye can see. The angel of death will come and sit at this person's head, the dying person's head, and it will address him. And it'll address him saying, wicked soul, come out to displeasure from God. Then it becomes dissipated. It will leave the body. And it draws out as a spit from a moistured wool. It comes out, it leaves. So it means it will leave, it will be extracted. The angel of death will seize it. And as it does that, the angels that have come down with the black faces are sitting far away will not leave the soul in the hand of the angel for an instant. And they will place it in this hair cloth. So for a believer, there will be a shroud. For a wicked person, a disbeliever, there will be a hair cloth. And from that hair cloth will come a stench that's most offensive of stenches. And that could be found, the stench of a corpse found on the face of this earth. They then take it up and they bring it past a company of angels. And they will ask, who is this wicked soul? To which these angels will reply, so and so, son of so and so, using the worst names for you or known for you in the world. When this soul is brought to the lowest heaven and its request of a gate to be opened, the gate will not be opened. And God's messenger then recited, the gates of heaven will not be opened for them. They will not enter paradise until a camel can pass through the eye of a needle, which means that will never happen. A good soul, the gates are opened and angels are accompanying you from one level to the next level. But for the wicked soul, there is no accompanying of the angels and they do not get to enter it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala glorious will then say, record his book in Sijjin. Okay, record his book in Sijjin, which is the opposite of the Illiyun, in the lowest heaven, and his soul will be thrown down. He who assigns partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be fallen down from heavens and been snatched up by birds or made to fall down by a wind in a place far distant. And this is quoted in the Quran when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they will be thrown away. He who assigns partners will be fallen down. And this is what it means when your soul will be thrown from the highest of the heavens, and is in line with the recite or the quotation of the Quran. His soul is then restored to his body, and two angels come to him, the angels of questioning. They'll make him sit, and they'll ask, Man Rabbuka? And he will say, I do not know. They will say, Mandinuka. He will reply, he is unaware. They will ask, Mahada Rajul, who is this man that was sent amongst you? He will reply, alas, I don't know. And then a voice cries out from the heaven that he has lied, because he was aware but he didn't accept. So spread out carpets from hell for him and open a gate for him into hellfire. Then some of the heat and hot air comes to him. His grave is made narrow for him so that his ribs are pressed together in it. And a man with an ugly face, ugly garments, and an offensive odor come to him. So first, this voice, when it tells or cries out that this person is a liar, you will have carpets spread from hell, whereas in Jannah it will be the carpets of Jannah. There'll be a stench, there'll be heat, there'll be hot air that comes to you. Imagine the steam that you feel when you are on a hot day, or when you're cooking, and the steam, or the hot air that hits you. Imagine a time when the hot air hits you, even if you've been out in a really hot country, and it's almost like, especially when in the Middle East, when you go on holiday, it's almost like being in an oven because the hot air hits you. Or when you're cooking and you open the door of the oven, or you have some steam, or you steam your face. So many sisters would know this. When you steam your face, when you do those facials, you steam your face, that hot air initially can be quite overwhelming. It can be suffocating, and you could barely do 10 minutes of that steaming of your face because of the hot air hitting you directly. Imagine the hot air of hellfire hitting you in your grave time and time again. So this is, may Allah subhanahu protect us from this, Ameen. Then once that air has been exposed to you, there will be that voice that says this person is a liar. You'll get a carpet from the hellfire, and then there will be the grave will be made narrow, and your ribs will be pressed together. Ugly face and ugly garments and offensive odor will come to you. This is what will be the opposite of a good soul. And it will be said, be grieved with what displeases you, for this is the day which has been promised to you. So there'll be an ugly face, and a man with an ugly face and ugly garments and offensive odor will come to you. So it will be a man. So the opposite of what we saw for the good soul. So in a person with a lovely face will come with the best garments and the best odor, with the best smell. But the opposite happens for the disbeliever. An ugly face with an ugly garments and offensive odor will come to you, and it will say, "Be grieved with what displeases you." That is the day you've been promised. And then you will ask this person, "Who are you? Your face is the most ugliest and brings evil." This person will reply, "I am your wicked deeds." Your deeds will take the form of a person. If you have done good deeds, that person will be the best person with the best face, the best garments, and the best odor and smell. But if your deeds have been evil and bad, that will take form in the form of a person as being an ugly person, an evil person with the worst type of order. And then you will cry out saying, "Oh my Lord, do not bring the hour," because you know from that point what is to come, what lies beyond that barzakh is far worse for you now. Your fate will be decided. Your fate will be decided. It is too late to do anything. And this is what we need to prepare. This is why the Prophet ﷺ told us to remember death, because it is the destroyer of pleasures. We need to make, sometimes, and a lot of people would relate to this. A lot of the time when we want to do something, and we've lost the opportunity. How many people have lost a loved one and they feel they did not take advantage of spending time with them? And you would always feel that no matter how much time you spent with that person, you always feel like, I should have made the most of it. The opportunity will go. The same will happen to you. Your time will come, the opportunity will go, and you will feel that you did not do enough to prepare for the akhirah. And you may never feel that you've done enough for the akhirah, but you need to start. You need to spend this time, inshallah, to do that. Once that person comes to you and you say, "Oh Allah subhanahu, do not let the hour come," then just to finish off, in another version it says that what has this when his soul comes out, every angel between the heaven and earth and every angel in heaven invoke blessing on him. So this is for a good soul. When a good soul comes out, all the angels between the heaven and earth start to invoke blessings for him. The gates of heaven are opened, and no guardian of a gate failing to supplicate for him. So the angels will supplicate for you. that his soul may be taken beyond them. But when the soul of a disbeliever is pulled out, along with the veins, so it is a extraction of severe severity, as not as easy as the extraction of the soul of a good person. Every angel between the heaven and earth will curse him. They will curse him, and the gates of heaven will be locked, because you cannot enter, the wicked soul will not be able to enter, and they will not supplicate for him. That soul may not be taken beyond them. They will not go beyond that. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our barzakh a form of light. We ask Him to make us of those good people that take advantage of preparing for that, to remember death, and to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to please make our grave, our barzakh, a light from Jannah. We ask Him to send us the angels whose faces are white as sun or bright as the sun, and protect us from seeing those angels who are going to be striking the disbelievers, or those angels that will come with black faces and sit away from us and do not, when they take us, the angels will not allow us to enter the Jannah. We ask protection and refuge with Allah from that. This is a very important reminder that I leave you with. I have understood that it was more than 10 minutes today, but it was a very important reminder. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us remember death often, so we can prepare for it and we could take advantage till the next Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala show us the next Ramadan, so we could take full advantage of it, because we never know when it may be our last. This may be the last Ramadan for us. Please remember death as much and as often as you can. Prepare for it. Don't forget, don't lapse. Once the shaitan is out, don't be forgetful, don't be neglectful. All the hard work that you put into Ramadan, carry it through. Make sure that you are strong, you're built up on your taqwa, ready to face the shaitan, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked us to make dua, turn to Him. There is no help without His help. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to inshallah help us meet again in the next Ramadan. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.